God damn, that is so brutal, man. But ladies and gentlemen, my name is Allison, and I'd like to welcome you to Super Mario Odyssey. With the Switch 2 having just been released and plenty of older Switch titles getting some well-deserved visual and performance-related upgrades, I figured this would be as good a time as any to finally tackle this behemoth of a game. Believe it or not, Odyssey came out nearly 8 years ago. I know, right? And honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of it. The hundreds and hundreds upon moons hidden in arbitrary places and the motion controls really set it back for me, and I'm hoping time has been kind for Odyssey, if I can just say that much, so we'll see how it goes. In general, I have really been enjoying the Switch 2, and these enhancements have injected new life into these older games, even this one. But here we are in a strange and new kingdom, and I have no idea what to make of these characters. However, this one, I think, has a legal document waiting for him on behalf of my stolen intellectual property he's holding. Yeah, well, you are the one that approached me, but apparently this creature bore witness to our humiliating loss in the sky. To say I've been through the ringer is a bit of an understatement, but this is the Cap Kingdom, and they are also under attack by Bowser. That gave us such a trouncing. It's really embarrassing, and might have to pursue even further legal action. Oh, that's really concerning. So he tried to take off, but apparently their armada has been destroyed. Oh. So there might be a functioning ship in the next kingdom over. Hopefully we can get there. But if only we could reach the top of Top Hat Tower, which is being guarded by the monster's henchmen. Well, since we're after the same thing, it would make sense for us to team up. That doesn't sound like the worst idea. We have mutual interests, and this is a pretty easy way for you to get out of any legal ramifications.
Oh, come on. Huh?
With that, Cappy, our new sidekick, is now our companion, and also the gimmick for this game. You can actually do quite a few things with Cappy, such as throwing them and destroying all manners of things, and if you see somebody who's actually good at this game play, and the tricks they can do with this thing, it is absolutely insane, and you're not going to be seeing any of that with me, but it is still a fun time, and you can use Cappy to collect coins and destroy things. I am playing with the Pro controller because I simply just cannot hold Joy-Cons anymore. It's bizarre, it's weird, and I'm not a huge fan, but you have quite the versatile moveset with Cappy, and we'll get more into that as the game teaches us, but what we really want to do is just sort of acclimate ourselves with the controls, get as many coins as we can, and also get rid of any unnecessary propaganda. Yeah, the world's greatest and best wedding, apparently, is happening here soon, so we'll get to that in due time, but as far as things are concerned, there's not a lot for us to do here, and there's actually going to be a lot of opportunities for us to return to other areas that we'll eventually be able to find more things in, but for now, this is mostly just kind of an exploration in how to move our body after falling thousands of feet out of the sky and being A-okay. Doing jumps and flips and tricks right after that. But depending on where we go, you can go and destroy all manners of boxes, cause even more devastation to this poor Cap Kingdom. and not have the prompt at the bottom of the screen move away. We have this incredible moving technique, and we also have sprouts. If you go and hit them up with Cappy, usually good things will happen, like you get a heart, and if you're full on health, then you will be able to get some coins out of that. Speaking of, anytime you happen to not be wearing a hat, you take double damage, so kind of curious that they ended up bringing that back over, but we'll come back at some point, and you don't have to worry about lighting all these lanterns. I went and tried it, and nothing happened. Some of them will give you coins, but you don't get a special moon or anything like that, so let's go read this hint box. Travel tip, cap, throw, and hold. Want to break a whole stack of boxes? I'm good. Caused enough devastation and destruction here for one lifetime, but pretty nice. And you can also use Cappy to activate switches and jump on him to get even farther. Oh, there were a bunch of hat doves in there. Well, let's go ahead and activate this switch that Mario is too weak to pull with his plumber arms. And this is where we get to learn about rolling, right? So all we have to do is crouch and then shake your controller so that you can get some nice distance there, but yeah, it's kind of annoying, and we'll have a lot of opportunities to just get mad at motion controls screwing us over, but let's get rid of more of this shenaniganry. You don't need any of that. I will say, this game is incredibly beautiful, and there's a lot of things to appreciate about it, especially the music, but you have a lot of areas that are completely dissociated from the rest of the world that I think are the real highlights, and we'll get a little bit more into that a bit later, but holding Cappy for certain question blocks is usually a pretty good way of getting a bunch of coins at once, even though you can't really seem to get more than one at a time. But you come over here and you think to yourself, well, hey, it looks like we're kind of stuck here. Mario isn't really known for his verticality now, is he? No, it's only his trademark technique, but you've got the unsuspecting frogs who are just paying no mind to the plumber.
Yeah, come on.
Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Oh.
As it turns out, Mario's newfangled abilities of possession are not lost upon him, and I love to think that every single time that we capture a creature that we go through the whole rigmarole of falling through the world, but we're now a frog and we have a completely different moveset, so we are gonna have to do a little bit of high jumps just to really get as many coins as we can possibly muster. Eventually, the thriving economy here in the Cap Kingdom will allow us to purchase some things, as well as a couple of other areas, but there are some choices made in terms of who you can possess and who you cannot, and we'll be getting into that a bit later, but it's kind of funny. So these little mini gold Goombas are kind of funny because you can't really get hurt by them unless you stand still. If you just walk into them, you just automatically sort of bump, but it's cute and it's very satisfying. It reminds me of Mario RPG, actually. You remember like the golden Goomba stomping minigame? God, such a good game. We have more of these, and in case you happen to want to leave, your creature will remain possessible for a few seconds before disappearing and respawning, but they do give you a couple just in case, you know, you happen to lose your frog to a dissection table. Yeah, there we go. So we got a few of those, a heart in case we need it, and a couple of concussions on the house, so I appreciate it. We'll go and snag this up, and I think we're done here. Nice, these hats are unfortunately on fire, and we can put them out, I think. Yeah, there we go. I don't know who lit these, but it does not bother me. Now, before any major boss, the game will typically be kind enough to give you a health extension, which is great because it carries over until you die, which is really the worst punishment you can possibly get, is losing your health extension. And it's really not that hard, but welcome to Top Hat Tower. Man, that monster has ruined everything. all of our hat-shaped houses. Sheesh. Who could be responsible for this? Well, you've been out of the loop. Oh, these poor creatures. Yeah, so everyone's still on top of Top Hat Tower. I don't know what they're doing up there, but let's just go and make our way up and get ready for our first boss fight, which is honestly not that bad. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's favorite speech-impaired ridden gang of scoundrels has finally arrived. And while they like to fancy themselves as the wedding planners for the happy couple, they're more affectionately known as the Broodals, and we are going to be seeing far too many of these guys for comfort. And since they got the treasure they needed and they're contractually obligated to finish the job, well, I guess this is his idea of doing it, is balancing a couple of spiky hats on his head. Essentially, we just need to hit him a bunch of times with Cappy and call it good. With the homing attack, it makes this fight pretty trivial. So all we have to do is step on him when his head is bare and we'll be good. You can also hit these back out if... Hello? Thank you. I guess now we're just going to be doing all manners of skills. So maybe... Hold on. Does this fight not work with the Pro controller? There we go. Alright, now we just have to go and do this... yeah, oh no. Mr. Cruz, come on, get him! Oh my god. Oh, God, this is going to be a long project. So we see an electrified wire, and what do you think the appropriate thing to do in this situation is? It's time to ride the lightning, baby. I'm not gonna lie, kind of a disappointing splash screen, right? I feel like after all of that, and that's what we get, but welcome to the Cascade Kingdom. There is no way Mario's the same plumber as he was 10 minutes ago. But it's nigh time for us to get into the girth of the game. We made it to the Cascade Kingdom, but we're still a little amped from the power line, but that's alright. There should be an old spaceship somewhere around here. Let's see if we can't find it. I mean, it's literally right over there, but there are a lot of things that we'll eventually be able to do here, but we can just explore a little bit. You typically want to wait until you defeat the main boss before you do any major exploration, since this place does end up switching different forms of collectibles depending on your level of completion. So here in every single kingdom, you have unique sets of purple coins that you'll be able to collect in order to buy certain things, and the shop won't be available for this one just yet, but this is mostly the tutorial kingdom, and we can learn about the homing cap throw, which was not working for me in the fight, but that is alright. My aiming was just that terrible, and the pro control just is not very conducive to that, but it is very handy for enemies like that, and amongst other things, we'll be able to also hit some of these clouds to make platforms appear, collect some of those coins, and hopefully have that prompt disappear, since they typically just hang out there for a while. But we've got ourselves a chain chomp, and of course, we want to compel ourselves to take it and launch it into this rock formation, which will allow us to collect our first of 880 power moons. You got a moon! Yeah, I'm gonna be doing that a lot, I think. But in doing that, we knocked down very precariously placed rock, and now we get to learn about the multi-moon atop the falls. Oh god. Look at that absolute unit of a body.
Amazing.
That's a pretty lucky break. It'll be handy to have to power the airship. Huh. Well, I've seen a lot of things like it, just not exactly a power moon. Sometimes they give me one-ups, but other times not so much. Wow, look at his cheeks. Oh my god, Mario. He's like a little chipmunk or something. Here we have ourselves a mysteriously empty frame, and we'll come back to that a little bit later, but in keeping with the theme of things not necessarily being available for us just yet, a lot of stuff that we need to collect in some of these kingdoms will have to wait until after we beat the final boss, which is kind of weird, but something that I guess was a decision made by the execs at Nintendo. Over here, so you'll see there is a chest, but there's no way for us to reach it until after we beat the boss, so that's just something we'll have to worry about a little later, but let's just get out of here. The dive is kind of annoying to do because you have to be in the middle of a ground pound to do it, and then you can go and do that, but we'll get into some of that advanced tech a little bit later. It's our handy-dandy airship, and it is rusted to hell. Yeah. Oh, but it's just an older model, and this was an aesthetic choice. Cool, just like Shiplak. Well, let's give it a shot. Let's toss you up onto that globe there of planet Earth and see if it works. Oh, yeah, something tells me we're gonna need a little more juice to power this thing, and I don't think the electricity that is still coursing through our veins is gonna be nearly enough. So let's keep on exploring and see if we can't find more power moons. You can see by the perforated circles under our coins how many we're gonna need to get off of this godforsaken Jurassic Park of sorts. Thank you for the hearts that we absolutely needed, and we have a pole here that we can shake the Pro Controller to climb faster, just to get a brief lay of the land. Not a bad place to start things off as far as tutorials are concerned, but it is a lot smaller than it looks. Grab some more circular coins here, and yeah, let's go and check this out. I'm gonna ignore the sleeping Yoshi off to the side, and we're gonna disrupt this family of chain chomps here, because there's something fairly nice we can grab with just a little bit of casual child abuse. Yeah, another power moon. Chomp through the rocks, baby. Oof, what was that? Sheesh. So let's get out of here. I'm actually going to go and take this before I accidentally destroy it. And yes, you can eventually take that sleeping dinosaur, but I am going to wait just a little bit before waking the beast. Because over here we've got the big mama of the chain chomps. Oof, that was a little scary. And we can go and launch you in there. My god. You can also use the other chain chomps to knock into the big one, but god, it's kind of terrifying. Let me get out of here, please. And bonk just a little bit. That happens a lot. So one of the techniques that I'll probably end up doing on complete accident is the spin throw. When I'm surrounded by enemies and wish I could hit them all at once, all I have to do is snap the Pro Controller to the side, and yeah, it'll make my head spin. So, I mean, I'm trying, but there we go. It's pretty helpful in practice, but doing it is just a hassle, and I can never pull it off when I actually want to. So let's actually do that. And we can't do this either. There's supposed to be a pipe, but you can see this crudely placed boulder that's not going to let us access it just yet. We can also go along over here, and this is the other side of where the chain chomps were. So let's go ahead and not fall to our death. And see, sometimes when you like launch yourself off an edge, you can't stop yourself. So it's a little scary, but that's all right. Go this way. And make sure whatever you do to collect as many of these checkpoints as you can possibly muster, because they do act as eventual warp points. And, ooh, okay, fellas, I'm trying to do the thing. There we go. A little late, but I guess we still ended up getting it. I might need to switch to the not Pro Controller, but I actually, this controller is great. I really like the way that it feels, and it's very, very succinct in my abilities, but let's go and launch into this wall here. An ancient mural has appeared. Oh, and the chain chomp died. That's no good. Well, if we head over here, we can get a nice little scenic overlook at this waterfall. And you might have noticed that, oh, I thought there was ways we could get over here. Well, maybe that has to wait until after we beat the boss, but we go from 3D to 2D in an incredible display of nostalgia, with like a great theme to it also. And we can make our way through this. You don't have your cap throwing abilities, sadly, but that's all right. We don't need them. Apparently I might though. We'll see. I actually do want to get rid of those gooms. Ugh. And if we go and jump here, make sure not to destroy anything. And something that you'll probably end up keeping in mind is the fact that when you have these 2D sections, there's typically a spot where they'll try to hide a sneaky little power moon or two. Case in point, jumping right over it, you got a moon behind the waterfall. And it's gonna be a great time for us picking those up. But let's go and see if there's any other coins in here. Nope, not exactly. And we've got ourselves another checkpoint. That is a great sign. We also have the Chain Chomp brothers, but ooh, here we go. So this is the health extension for this area. That's really neat. Thank you for that. But what we want to do is go ahead and get this one to hit into this other one so we could destroy that lovely wall of stone. Oh, these poor guys. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our first major boss battle. This, my friends, is Madame Brood, the leader of the Broodals, who rules with an iron fist, and she is the wenchiest of women that we've ever seen. Not only does she have a terrible temperament, but she abuses her chain chompikins. I mean, just look at this complete and utter desecration of fashion sense. It is the ultimate faux pas to put that pink with that gold. But all we have to do is hit Chain Chompikins twice and then use her own strength against her. And of course, she's obviously an animal abuser, so all the more reason and justification to do her in and steal her jewelry. So all we have to do is wait for that and then not get hurt here. Oh no. Come on. The homing cap doesn't really seem to work on Chain Chompikins, but after 3 rounds of this, we can finally set the doggo free. Well, can't say she didn't deserve that now, can we? You got a multi-moon! Ooh, yes, we've done it and we got the multi-moon. It's as strong as 3 power moons combined, and it should get the ship moving in no time. Or so you'd like to think. Alright, let's take one last look before ending things off. With a grand total of 6 power stars, the Odyssey has been restored to its former glory. Oh yeah, I think it's time to take this bad boy out for a night on the town. He deserves it. But we have enough fuel to reach the Sand Kingdom, and as much as I would love to start exploring this incredibly expansive area, that is gonna have to wait until next time. We now have choices, and if you really want to, you could return back to the Cap Kingdom, but there's still not gonna be anything there for us, so next time in Super Mario Odyssey, we are going to be exploring just a little bit more of the Cascade Kingdom and see what's been unlocked after the very fortunate demise of one Madame Brood. God, I hate that woman. And it's not the last time we're going to see her either. Sand Kingdom we'll probably end up taking a quick look at as well, but this is going to be our main focus. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.